Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something.
And if you don't know where that quote's from, well, then I don't know if we can be friends, but look into it. A good friend of mine, his name is Jake the Dog. He actually was the one who coined that. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, my name is LJ, which everyone's new to the channel since it just started today. So welcome. So I want to start off with Apex Legends. It's a very humbling game. I don't have a whole lot of tips that haven't been shared in this game yet, but from someone who went from a .05 KD to an almost 1 solid KD this season, I'm ready to share some of those tips. Because a lot of the professionals, some of those things they do, I still have yet to figure out. But the most important thing is whenever you drop in an Apex, you never know what you're going to get. It could be the best loot, the worst loot, you could have a gun, you could have no guns, but you just got to remain flexible. In this clip, you'll see that I kind of had to improvise. You start to get to the punch in, and there's nothing at all wrong with that. Now that we're done with the punchies, tip number 1 from me is to practice with every gun in this game, because every bin you open, you really have no idea what's going to be inside of it. It's like one of those little mystery chocolates or something. And in each game, carry a different secondary, so you can always have a backup in case the fight goes wrong. You can switch back to the gun that you know that you're good with. Unfortunately, in Apex, you don't always get second chances, so kind of have to cut your losses. But in this one, see, I just grabbed any gun that I could, opened a door, and next thing you know, there was another team waiting for me on the other side. So because I was able to fight with an R99, I was able to get in here and actually help my team. Not the best strategic plays here, but you kind of have to move pretty quick when you first land, and that's tip number 1. Just grab whatever gun you can, practice with them all, and get ready for fighting. And now this next tip is a very important one. So if you're new to the game, you're going to have a hard time picking which character fits your playing style. So the one thing that I learned is don't be too reliant on your character's abilities, and also know your teammates' abilities and all the other characters in the game's abilities so you can better play with your teammates. So let's take a look at this breakdown really quick. Landing in, and important to make sure that you stay where your teammates are, or at least in proximity to where if you do get knocked, you have some backup. So I'm minding my own business, I see this Octane, I decide to go take on this Octane. Well, then you have to decide whether or not you're going to use your special abilities at all. And in this case, Valkyrie's rockets are perfect. So I was able to slow him down because I know Octane's fast. And then same thing, I just avoided abilities and just took on Lifeline. Hopefully I'm doing a good job of fooling you with the highlight reel right now. The next tip is to make sure that you're kind of aware of your surroundings. I noticed this guy crafting over here, but what I should have done is waited for my teammates before I pushed. But the next tip is to know when to heal up and everything. So I lost the guy that I was going after next, so I decided to just, distance myself, throw some grenades, and now is a good time to heal up. I've got some cover, my teammates are here, and now you go ahead and you focus on your environment. I knew that I didn't want this person getting revived, took my kill, and then the next part of that tip is to loot quick. And I'm not doing a very good job of this right now. This is kind of one of my weak points, is my looting quickness, but it's important. No matter who you are in the game of Apex Legends, whether you're Chuck Norris or somebody else equally important and badass, the element of surprise is your best friend. So whenever you see someone that you can sneak up on, make sure 1, that you actually do have the advantage, their teammates aren't going to jump you, and 2, make sure that you don't lose your element of surprise like I did here with my horrible long range abilities. So you've got to kind of humble yourself a little bit and remember that, you are just starting this game, you might not be a sharp shooter like I thought I was, and then, don't get bamboozled by mirages. Watch this. This guy really knows how to use his abilities, and I almost got fooled by this mirage. It was just incredible. Look at that. What? All I can say is whatever you do, don't get discouraged. Look at this. I am terrible with the wingman. It is one of the worst guns that I can play with, but you just got to move fast, think quick, and stay on top of it. Practice. And a lot of times it's just luck. Look what happens next. Just look at this. I threw a grenade and kill. Just like that. I just want you guys to know I have clips for days, and I plan to share them all with you. So if you are enjoying this so far, be sure to hit that like button, comment button, subscribe button, all of that good stuff, and show me some love. But look at this. I just missed all my shots and had to think quick to save this game. And this was pretty early on in my career, you could say. And no matter what, you just have to stay motivated, because Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and then you have games where you kill 9 people, so it all just depends in Apex Legends. But this leads to our next tip, which is to get high cover or high ground. And you should never expose yourself directly. That sounds very weird, but you should never expose yourself in this game and in life, period, because any object between you and someone shooting at you is a good thing. So try to put as much between you and the other person as you can. Never just run out into an open field unless you're sneaking up on someone. I'm going to tie this into another tip, which is to know when to fall back. I can't stress this one enough. Know when to fall back, heal up, get your team together, get a good read of what's going on around you, and then make your decision. Sometimes you don't have that time, but you want to make sure that if you can, like in this scenario, I should have definitely not gotten greedy. I almost got knocked, but I decided to push because I saw my shields and the damage he was doing. Now this next play, this one is no mom's spaghetti or anything crazy good or anything, but I just kind of figure I can use this to explain a little bit about the importance of knowing when to fall back, which in this case we were being pressed pretty hard. It was the final 2 teams, and I used Ash's portal to get away, but you want to make sure that you never get too far from your teammates and you never lose sight of the fight. So you want to make sure you peek out, pop your head out from time to time, and kind of read what's going on to know when to push. And in this case, I got the game-winning shot. I definitely stole this kill, but you know what? Timing is everything in this game. You remember how I just said timing is everything in this game? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is probably one of my luckiest games where I had no idea what I was doing, but somehow I prevailed. I succeeded. And it was a little sloppy at times, it was a little bit messy at moments, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. And just look at this, people all over the place, the ring closing in, and I just decided to throw my portal, and next thing you know, I see another hash, and that's it. I didn't heal up, I didn't get a chance to think about anything, it just had to be there. The next tip I've got for you guys is to think before you revive. And this kind of just goes hand in hand with working with your teammates. As you see my teammates down, I decide to throw my dome shield, help them get up really quick, and I know that I had the bubble to protect them. And the reason for this is I knew Seer had his ultimate, he said it earlier in the video. And then I was able to practice where everybody else was, and now I could strategically get over to Wraith and help her up. I am nowhere near good enough at Apex to take on a team of 3 by myself on a regular basis, so it's very important to work with your teammates. In this case, you can see I was revived because I unfortunately got knocked. It happens to the best of us. But then I had to do some strategic thinking here. So being Valkyrie, you got to learn how to move, and in Apex, everyone needs to learn how to move. You got to get to where the fight is, get out of the fight, get in the fight, get out of the fight, kind of play around. So in this case, again, very sloppy, but nonetheless, the magic happened. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I bombarded some grenades, did all that, jumped around, came back around from the other side to get a different angle on this fight. And it turned out to be very beneficial. And in this case, just like that, we won. I'm gonna go back to one other tip I said earlier, which is, again, to make sure you put cover between you and other people. As you can see here, this guy is on top of here deciding he wants to be all ballsy McBallsballs and shoot me. So what I did, I hid behind this rock, knocked, just like that. And I was able to line up my shot and take my time because I hid behind a rock. Rock of Gibraltar. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Apex is a game that will truly humble you. I've played over 3,000 games and have only taken on a team of 3 by myself. Or, well, in this case with a little bit of help with my teammate. Only maybe 3 times. And a lot of it's luck. And it really is just fun, but you know, at the end of the day, you've got to time everything right, hit all your shots, and even in this one, I was not hitting my shots. It wasn't the best, you know, knocks I've ever had, but they were okay. They got the job done. And even when this frickin' Octane decided to come flying at me like Rambo in the middle of the air, I decided to just go pew 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 and knock this dude. Knock this dude to get a 3-piece. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it felt good. I'm not saying once you put all this together you're going to be a champ. You're going to be a lot better than you were before, trust me though. And here's a clear example of no matter what, sometimes the game just doesn't really work out the way you think it is. Me and my teammates, we're stuck and the only cover we have is this silly lifeline package. So yeah, things got a little bit interesting here. To make things clear, I just decided to kill this person because I did not want them getting revived. I knew the other person shooting from up top was a lifeline, just like myself in this scenario. And what I decided to do was to pretty much use this care package as cover, but every time I poked my head out, bam! Every time I tried to heal up, had to re-heal. So, you know, no matter what you do, sometimes it just doesn't really work as smoothly as you want, but I tried my best, and in this case, we brought the win home. I kind of spoiled that one a little bit, but you can see what happens here. And like I said, you got to read the surroundings. That lifeline knew my teammate was knocked and came in for the kill. If you made it this far, I thank you so much for your time. And the last tip I have is just be careful how you use them. They're sketchy, they're dangerous, but at the end of the day, they're a quick tip for getting your shields re-healed. So strategically use them and, you know, make your opponents feel like lesser than you. Like I said, thanks again, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next episode.